This episode is something of a landmark for me. I've reached 100 subscribers, and I've also passed the halfway point in my journey. 55 routes filmed, 53 to go based on the bus routes that existed when I started this project. The actual numbers are a little harder to work out because bus routes change all the time. There isn't a number 100 bus, which is what I'd wanted to ride to celebrate 100 subscribers. There is, however, a 110, which is near enough. So, morning in Leeds and welcome to the Every Bus vlog. Leeds and Wakefield are two cities that have a lot in common. They're quite close together, so it makes sense that they're very well connected. There have been regular passenger trains between Leeds and Wakefield for almost 2 centuries now. Wakefield Kirkgate Station opened in 1840, and Westgate followed in 1867. I gather that train services haven't improved much in the intervening 185 years. The most commonly used words I've heard to describe them are slow, overcrowded, unreliable, and, perhaps most damningly of all, expensive. An off-peak day return for that train ride costs £7, rising to north of £8 for a peak time day return. So it's not that surprising that the two cities are also well connected by bus. The 110 was one of Arriva's flagship Sapphire services, aimed at capturing demand from passengers who have plenty of choices. They laid on better buses and put more effort into running a more reliable service. Now, the Sapphire branding is on the way out, as is most operator branding, and sadly, the mentality seems to be long gone. Before I talk more about the route, I'm going to change buses. The bus I started the day on was utterly filthy, which is not great for video. I noticed there's one a few minutes behind, so I got off and got on that one instead. Somehow it was even worse. It is what it is, so let's talk about the route. Until a couple of years ago, the 110 continued south of Wakefield as far as Hall Green. Between Leeds and Wakefield, it is a rather direct route, following the main A61 for almost the entirety of its route. At peak times, it's scheduled to take just under an hour from end to end, but they really squeeze the timetable between the peaks, giving a journey time of just over 40 minutes. Notably, the longer 110 included stops right outside Kirkgate railway station. The train journey from Westgate to Leeds is only 15 minutes, but the journey from Kirkgate is relatively leisurely, taking 30 minutes plus. Given the choice between an overcrowded 30-minute train ride to Leeds station and a 40-minute luxury bus ride to Leeds City Bus Station, with a direct connection to what was then the Free City Bus, the bus starts to look far more appealing. Of course, things are different now. The Free City Bus isn't free anymore, and the 110 doesn't serve Hall Green. That part of the route is now operated by a separate number 106. Still 4 times an hour though. Unfortunately, based on what I've seen and heard, and my experience on the day, the 110 is an incredibly unreliable bus service. During my trip, 2 of the 6 buses I'd planned to ride on were cancelled. Of course, I still made it there and back, and I wasn't waiting more than 20 minutes at any one stop. But it does make you wonder, doesn't it? The first place I got off at is Robin Hood. It's a lovely little border village, one of 2 between the main parts of Leeds and Wakefield. It's one of those places that's been here since time immemorial, i.e. since before records began. Used to be a mining town, then it was all but abandoned in the mid-1900s. Now it's a lovely little village. It even has its own post office. As for the name, if you follow me on Mastodon, you'll have seen that I ended up going down a bit of a research rabbit hole. I'll give you the highlights. It isn't known for sure, or at least I couldn't find out for sure, what the relationship between the village of Robin Hood and the character of folklore was. Most of the original legends have him operating in Barnsdale Forest, which would have been somewhere over that way, and not Sherwood Forest. There's also a mention of a Stane Lee and an Outwards, which might be Stanley and Outward, 2 nearby villages. Best I can tell, a coal mine was given the name Robin Hood after the legend, and the eventual village was named after the coal mine. there is a lot more to go into. Maybe I'll make that video someday. I mean, I've been the typical British YouTuber standing in a field talking about history twice already. Why not make it 3? At this point, I had to stop. Not for the sake of my sanity, that's long gone, but because the next 110 was arriving. This bus was every bit as dirty as the last 2, so there isn't much to see. It's a real pity. From what I can tell, it's really beautiful out here in the green belt north of Wakefield. So let's skip ahead to Outwood. Outwood has a lovely little centre. There's a lot of eateries and a couple of chain stores, but I'm here for something special, something unique. I'm here for the Empire Cinema. The Empire opened in 1921 as an independent cinema, with a single screen and 750 seats. Throughout the Second World War, there were filmed and live performances. I've even found some mentions of the Red Cross Society putting on a variety show. When the Empire Cinema closed in the 1960s, it was turned into a bingo hall, which lasted 20 years or so. It's a nice building, it's in a good location, so while it's been through a few uses over the years, it's never been empty for very long. Most recently, in 2002, it opened as a fish and chip restaurant, now operated as a Weatherby Whaler, which is a local chain of well-respected chippies we've talked about before. The old signage for the Empire Cinema is still there, and still in really good condition. The letterboard-style signs are a recent addition, which I think are a real shame, very much a missed opportunity. From a distance, they look great, but look closer and you'll notice that the letters don't quite line up with the horizontal rails. They could have taken the time to make these signs look amazing, line the letters up, maybe add a fake drop shadow behind them. For some reason, it really bothered me that they didn't. Unfortunately, the chippy wasn't open until much later on, so I decided I would move on and head into Wakefield. The 4th bus of the day, and this one was also filthy. Poor show Arriva. I decided I'd save my battery and just film when I got to Wakefield. The moment you arrive in Wakefield bus station, it's very obvious that you're in Arriva territory. Arriva welcomes you, Arriva is on the signs, the bus station is just full of Arriva branding. Even the fixtures and fittings are painted in that off-blue colour, which is definitely a choice. Other than that, it's just like any other bus station really. Departure boards, stands, vendors. More vendors than in Leeds, surprisingly. And you come out into Wakefield Centre just by Trinity Walk. And with that, we've reached our last stop for the day. I do need to let you know that I'm planning just one more episode before my summer break, because buses around here don't have air conditioning, and riding crowded buses on a hot day is not good for my health. There's more information about the break and payment pausing for paid members over on the Patreon. So stay hydrated, remember to wear sunscreen, and whatever else, don't forget to thank your driver.